CD Projekt Red just recently changed how its roadmap was for Cyberpunk 2077, so let's go take a look at it. So when they first showed off a roadmap for Cyberpunk 2077, what they ended up showing off was the end of 2020, which was going to have a few patches, and the beginning of 2021, which had a few more patches. Now, since then, they've considerably added to the patches and hot fixes and everything. And what they originally had was they also stated that at the end of the year, we would also have with that something, something akin to free DLCs and the free next-gen console update. The thing about those is what a free DLC is. CD Projekt Red has been known to do this, especially with The Witcher 3. Essentially what it is they actually do DLCs kind of differently. Now they do them, DLCs, downloadable content. The way they actually do this is they consider DLCs to be just downloadable content, stuff that might be a quest here, or maybe some collectibles, like different sort of like items you can have, so on and so forth. Something that they add for free for the player base. And what they consider to be more story-driven stuff, like actual expansions, they call, quite literally, expansions. They were also talking about the free next-gen console update. What we're getting with that is what the game Cyberpunk 2077 dropped on was PS4, Xbox One, and PC. It did not come automatically to PS5 or Xbox Series X. However, the main reason for that was the consoles were too new in themselves right there, and they kind of tried to work with the previous gen anyway, and PC. So the way they kind of built it like that, then they were going to take those versions of the console games and then kind of bring them up to the next gen standards. And granted, when it comes to consoles, even the current gen consoles as opposed to PC, there is still a difference in various different avenues. Those two aspects right there, the free DLCs and the free next-gen console update, were both slated to sometime before 2022. So we are currently in November, the very beginning of November, and there's no sign of that at all. So instead of that, they ended up actually giving us a new roadmap and what some people like to call a silent update for it. So they gave us a new update, a new roadmap of sorts, and it ends 2021 with patch 1.31. Now, the thing that's significant about that is that's at the very end of the bar. In 2022, in quarter one, they're talking about free next-gen console update. And it also is going to come with updates, improvements, and free DLCs. Now, that bar right there for updates, improvements, and free DLCs, that starts at the beginning of 2022 and continues on afterwards. And it has like that fade to say it's going to continue and, so on and so forth. We'll see what happens later on. They've changed how it goes through with this, how the year was supposed to end, and how the beginning of next year was supposed to go. So now we're not getting the free next gen console updates this year in 2021. We're, as of right now, currently slated to get them at the beginning Q1 2022, and Q1 is quarter one, which is January, February, or March. It would be the first 3 months. You have 3 months per quarter, so and making 4 quarters, essentially 12 months. So from the looks of things right now, we're not going to be getting too much information here about anything about the game. If anything, they might show us a little teaser or something, some little tidbit of information on what we're supposed to be getting next year at the very end of this year. However, it's also coming up to be the holiday season. And with that in mind right there, a lot of companies actually like to give their employees off for the holidays. So unless they decide to do something different here, for the most part, don't expect too much at the end of 2021, because right now we're coming up to a few different holidays, and just going from there, it's just going to be a clusterfuck between a lot of other games as well as this. Not to mention, CD Projekt just ended up acquiring a new studio recently, and they are slated to be working on another IP. We don't know what it is yet right now, but it could be Cyberpunk, it could be something involved with The Witcher. Who knows at this point? Only time will tell with that. And, you know, with the industry as the way it is right now, you could expect to see some leaks or something in the future, but nowhere near right now, mostly because of the fact that the acquisition just recently happened. So, granted, if there was anything that was already pre-built right there, I kind of doubt it, because this new dev is supposed to be working on it from scratch, I would assume. And outside of that right there, yeah, Cyberpunk 2077 just updated its roadmap, and don't expect anything at the end of this year. They are still looking to do improvements, obviously, because when Cyberpunk 2077 released, a lot of people were very distraught and disappointed with how it released. The consoles themselves released in a much worse state than PC did, and PC still had its, you know, fair share of issues. But however, because PC is more powerful than PS4 or Xbox One, it tended to have less of them. In fact, quite literally, a lot of different issues that a lot of people had with was, you know, some stuff involving how the difference in power between both those different mediums, you know, being last gen consoles and up-to-date PCs. There was a lot of different things like crowding and, you know, like different loading times, so on and so forth, that even like the PS5 for right now, the way it kind of works with its systems and how its SSD is done, its load times are astronomically faster. The same thing with the Xbox Series X, but we're not going to be able to see that until next year. So, like I said, time will tell, and we'll see what it looks like when they actually show something off, which I would assume would be sometime in January, maybe February. So anyway, that'll be it for this. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you all, and I hope to see you guys next time. Adios.